The cafe was glowing like a small miracle against the winter night, its windows fogged with warmth and cinnamon-scented air, when the girl's thin voice cut through the soft Christmas music. "Excuse me," she asked, pointing to the empty chair across from him, "is this seat only for the rich?" The question landed heavier than the snow piling up outside. The man looked up slowly, startled not by the words but by the courage it took to say them. He was sitting alone at the corner table, a tailored coat draped over the chair beside him, a steaming cup untouched, the kind of man people recognized from magazines yet never truly saw. And in that frozen moment, before he could answer, remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because some stories don't just entertain, they remind us who we are meant to be. She was small for her age, maybe 10 or 11, bundled in a coat that had known too many winters. Her boots were worn thin at the toes, her cheeks red from the cold, her eyes bright with a mix of hope and practiced disappointment. The CEO, everyone in the city knew his name, though few knew his heart, hesitated. Years of boardrooms had trained him to respond quickly, decisively. But this wasn't a deal or a headline. This was a child asking permission to exist in the same warm space. He swallowed and said, softly, "No. It's for anyone who needs it." She smiled, a small, careful smile, and climbed onto the chair, placing her hands on the table as if to prove she belonged. Outside, the snow fell harder. Inside, the cafe hummed with laughter and clinking cups. The girl introduced herself as Lena. She said her mother was across the street, working a late shift cleaning offices, and that they were waiting for her break because the cafe smelled like Christmas and warmth felt like a gift. The CEO nodded, listening, the way he hadn't listened to anyone in a long time. He noticed how Lena kept glancing at the pastry display, how she spoke quickly, as if time was something that could be taken away at any second. He offered to buy her a hot chocolate. She hesitated, then asked, "Only if it's okay." He smiled again, this time a little more honestly. "It's more than okay." When the cup arrived, she wrapped her hands around it like a treasure. Steam rose, carrying memories he hadn't visited in years, his own childhood winters, his mother's tired smile, the nights when kindness came from strangers because that was all there was. As they talked, Lena asked questions with disarming sincerity. Why did he look sad if he had everything? Why was he alone at Christmas? Did rich people get lonely too? Each question slipped past his defenses. He told her, carefully, about long hours and big responsibilities, about how success could build walls as high as it built towers. He didn't tell her about the divorce papers folded in his coat pocket, or the son who hadn't answered his calls in months, or the way the holidays echoed in his penthouse like an accusation. The cafe door opened and closed, bells ringing, people coming and going. Lena's mother, Maria, arrived breathless during her break, eyes widening when she saw her daughter seated across from a man she recognized instantly. Apologies tumbled out. Lena explained quickly, proudly, how the seat wasn't only for the rich. The CEO stood, introduced himself, and reassured Maria that nothing was wrong. He invited her to sit too. She declined at first, then accepted, exhaustion softening into gratitude. They talked about work and school, about dreams postponed and hopes held together with stubborn faith. Maria spoke of Lena's love for drawing, of how she sketched Christmas trees in cafes she passed but rarely entered. The CEO listened, really listened, and something inside him shifted. He remembered promises he once made to himself about building more than profit, about leaving the world warmer than he found it. When Maria's break ended, she thanked him and gathered her things. Lena lingered, eyes shining. "Thank you for letting me sit," she said. He replied, "Thank you for asking." As they left, Lena turned back. "Merry Christmas," she added, as if gifting him the words. The bell rang again, and the chair across from him was empty, but the space felt full. That night, he didn't go home. He walked instead, past lights and laughter, until he reached a small community center he funded on paper but had never visited. It was hosting a modest Christmas dinner. He stepped inside, unnoticed, and helped serve food. He listened to stories. He stayed until the end. For the first time in years, sleep came easily. Days later, he returned to the cafe. He asked the owner about Lena and Maria and learned more than he expected. He arranged scholarships quietly, job training for Maria, art classes for Lena. He didn't tell anyone. He didn't need the applause. The change felt better without it. On Christmas Eve, the cafe was busier than ever. The CEO arrived early and placed a small sign on the corner table. It read, "This seat is for anyone." He sat down, not alone anymore. Lena arrived with her mother, carrying a folder of drawings. She had drawn the cafe, the snow, the table, and two figures sharing warmth. He accepted the drawings like sacred things.